So today we'll be talking about World War I and its technology, the strategy they used, and the geography. World War I is different from previous wars because they had new weapons, vehicles, tanks, and first machine guns. But also the war started off with an assassination. Russia had 1.7 million casualty rates. The British Empire had 900,000. France had 1.3 million. The effects the Industrial Revolution had on the modern warfare is that it had rifles, flamethrowers, morts, cavalry, and submarines. They thought just because they had modern technology, the 20th century and the 19th century strategies, it would make a difference.
The important historical battle is the Battle of Somme, and this is the French and British. They united to fight Germany. Germany found out our plan of bombardment, and this resulted in them hiding in their trenches. This is important because Great Britain had more casualties than Germany. The Somme battle was in Somme River in northwest France, which was chosen for offense in 1916. This was where our British troops and French combined north of the river. In the Somme battlefield space, there were very few trees. There was nucleated villages and big farms. There was also barbed wire, some deep dugouts, and section of wire inadequately cut. In the German side, there were 8 large and 11 small explosive-filled mines that were dug beneath the trenches. The weather in the Somme battle was deferred between rain, stormy day, snow, and rarely sun.
The consequences of the Somme battle resulted on many political and social effects. It is known to be one of the largest and costliest battles of World War I, with over 1.5 million casualties in just 4 months. Many towns and the landscape were completely war-torn and destroyed after the Somme battle. This battle affected countless New Zealand families back home in just 23 days. This resulted in slaughter of both Allied and German troops. Many survivors believe their comrades had died for nothing, and many families of dead soldiers had nobody to bury due to the circumstances. Over half of the New Zealand soldiers that died at the Somme have no grave, and many are buried in cemeteries around France. Their families were deprived of the closure they needed, and the soldiers never got to return home. British had suffered around 20,000 casualties, and the French about 200,000. Germany casualty numbers are about 465,000.
Every day in the trenches as a British soldier, you have to be in alert night and day, and many of the British soldiers were volunteers with little battle experience or training. Soldiers got little sleep. They also had daily chores, got called to fight, dig trenches, place barbed wire, and they had rest time, which meant writing letters, playing card games, or smoking, which made soldiers get through the war. Trenches were dug by soldiers, were made to protect troops from machine gun fire, artillery attack from the air due to chemical warfare, and poisonous gas that protects soldiers from exposure. This allowed soldiers more time to put gas masks. Troops began mounting attacks from the trenches at night, mounting nighttime missions behind enemy lines by sending highly trained soldiers to attack the trenches of opposing forces at what they thought to be weak spots. When successful, the soldiers would breach enemy lines and circle around to attack their opponents from the rear, while their comrades would mount a traditional offensive at the front. The brutality of trench warfare is symbolized by the 1916 Battle of the Somme in France. British troops suffered 60,000 casualties on the first day of fighting alone.
The weapons they used were rifles, flamethrowers, morts, cavaliers, submarines. The effects the Industrial Revolution had on the modern warfare was they thought just because they had modern technology in the 20th century and 19th century strategies, it would make a difference. The effect on warfare were many casualties.